Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our weekend weather update and our 7-day rainfall outlook through to Friday next week, recorded on Friday the 20th of September. Let's take a look at the wind map, and we can see these big lows, big storms south of the country. Up to the north, we've got high pressure. So in between, the windy westerlies, they carry on. Not too strong for everybody, but in some places they are a little bit brisk. And we've got this patchy rain moving through with a few isolated heavy falls. So this is how we look this morning, just before we recorded this. You can see all those showers moving in, some rain for the western side of the North Island. And further down to the South Island, more rain and showers falling as snow through the Southern Alps. So let's animate the next 24 hours. You'll see that snow and rain move up the west coast. More showers come in to the western North Island. But on Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, some large dry areas forming. Now there are still a few clouds around, maybe still a couple of isolated showers in the morning, but it should, generally speaking, be clearing for many parts of the north, but still a bit cloudy over here on the western side of the country. This is the bigger picture version of it, 48 hours from 2 o'clock this afternoon. So you can see the rain and showers along the western side of the country, but this is the main driver, this big low south of the country. So as I animate the next 48 hours, taking us through till Sunday, you'll notice that the low here sort of spins around in circles, and those isobars, the windy westerlies, they remain, although pushed down further to the south. But even here on Sunday, another burst of wet weather, showers, patchy rain, moving along the western side of the country. So rainfall is mostly on the western side of New Zealand. You really notice it here for the southern half of the west coast. You're talking around about 7,500 millimetres of rain just over the next 48 hours from 8 o'clock Friday morning to 8 o'clock Sunday morning. But if you live in the eastern side of the country, not a lot of rain falling and not very much for the northern part. Some areas here in red, you might be seeing sort of 30 or 40 millimetres hit and miss downpours with this kind of setup. So this is lunchtime Saturday. There is the high drifting further away from us. Low pressure over the Chathams and low pressure to our southwest. Plenty more windy nor'westers coming through, but now mostly for the lower part of the South Island. That will help lift up your temperatures. We've got a few blue areas here. That just means the risk of a couple of showers around. They'll be pretty light, but you can see you might have a mostly sunny forecast, but just be aware, might be a couple of showers in the morning. They're clearing away as the day goes on. Subtropical breezes coming down. So Saturday is not a very cold day if you live in the top part of the country. You could be getting up to about 20 degrees, and some in the east, even though it says 17, some of you here and there may also reach 20. And the South Island, that bottom southeastern corner, also up a couple of degrees thanks to the northwesterly wind that's coming on in. So that nor'wester on Saturday in the deep south creeps up into central parts of the country on Sunday. So it'll be a little bit windy between sort of about the central part of Canterbury up to Wellington and southern Wairarapa Upper. Mostly dry weather again along the east. Rain returns to the west coast, snow on the southern Alps, and at the top of the country, more showers caught up in that west to northwesterly wind. It won't add up to much, but you'll still get some more wet weather around on Sunday. Now Monday's similar to Sunday. It's still a bit windy through central parts of New Zealand. It might just sort of move up a little further, a bit more of a breeze around Auckland, Coromandel, parts of Western Bay of Plenty, but it should be fairly mild in the east, cooler in the south, and obviously there is that wet weather stuck around central parts of the country. Now on Tuesday, something is starting to change that we haven't seen for a while, and that is high pressure increasing. So as it moves in and increases, we have between the high and the low to the south, windy sou'westers. So that'll blow through Auckland in particular, windy around Wellington, windy around Foveaux Strait, coastal parts of Southland. Bit of wet weather in the south, a little bit of here around central parts. Not overly wet on Tuesday, but just a chance of some downpours if you caught it sort of around these two areas. Otherwise, not too bad. Certainly many of these eastern and northern areas will be dry ahead of high pressure rolling in on Wednesday night. Winds will become lighter for most places. Still a bit of a breezy nor'wester down here. Not a cold one. It is subtropical and somewhat Australian as it moves in. So either way, that's warm. But speaking of Australia, there is a cold front, quite a big one. And on Thursday, that cold front zips up into Sydney and Canberra. On the other side of it, we've got the windy nor'westers, but that is the cold front moving in here on Thursday. So there could be severe wind warnings issued as a result of those nor'westers for the south, Pretty calm though, up here in the north with high pressure still in charge. And the high goes further northwards on Friday. In comes that cold front from Australia, so it moves into the North Island. Windy weather in both islands and a wintry change once again coming in for the south. Short-lived, but you will notice a bit of a cold change coming through. Snow on the mountains and ranges and on some of the hills as well. Low pressure forming to the east, and now a new low forming in the Tasman, and that low could be coming through for the following weekend. Not 100% locked in yet, but it is certainly showing up now on many of the computer modelling. So here is the 7-day rainfall. You'll notice the westerly lean to it as those cold fronts repeatedly come in. And so over here on the west coast, the southern half, you are getting between 150 and 200, maybe 250 millimetres. Very good news for our hydro dams. Over on the eastern side, not much in the pale blue here, going all the way up to the top of New Zealand. Not huge totals here for the North Island either, although, 40, 50 millimetres here and there. But for the most part, you're probably down around 10 to 20 millimetres, and a bit of rain spilling over also into Southland and Otago as your wet spring carries on. Well, that's all from me. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.